Honourable Member for Bass, Mr Ferguson.
Thanks, Mr Deputy Speaker. I rise tonight to raise the biggest issue in Tasmania today, which is the demise of Tasmania's largest private corporation, Guns Limited, a company that started out as a family business, built homes around the north of Tasmania as a building firm and emerged over those 140-odd years to be not just a building company but also a forest and forest products company, which had a significant diversified portfolio until just 2 or 3 years ago, when, as is well known, it began to divest itself of a number of those non-core assets, while it attempted to consolidate it and concentrate its efforts around the Bell Bay pulp mill project. Today in the Parliament, the Liberals moved to hold the government to account for for the role that it has played, a significant role, in the demise of that once proud Tasmanian company. I don't for a moment apologise for the actions of the management of Guns over the last couple of years. In fact, if we were to reflect on that, we'd find many shortcomings and elements where the company has helped to contribute to the terrible state of the forest industry generally and its own commercial predicament specifically. But this government is built on the foundation of green lies. This government is a house of cards, but its foundation is quite simply the anti-everything, the extreme oppositional politics of the protest party known as the Greens. People all across Tasmania know it. Australians know it. I'm being interjected now by a member who, along with his colleagues, have made their careers out of stopping things from happening. The Greens, the Labor Party is the guilty party. The Green Party is the selfish party. It seeks, as a key part of its ideology, singly to destroy what others have worked over their lives and generations to build up. Their political ideology is simply to destroy what others have fashioned and worked for. And today, in my office, I receive emails on my Facebook page, which anybody can see, cries for help from people who are now caught in the crossfire. People who have had no say in their circumstance because they're not politicians, they're not business leaders, they're not heads of political parties. They're not actually interested in politics. They're busy people, busy with their family, busy making a life for themselves and trying to make ends meet. I receive a text message just half an hour ago, Mr Deputy Speaker. A text message. Sorry to trouble you Michael, with this. I have a family friend who is or was a boss of Guns at an operations level. Can we get him some help? He's currently watching a number of his employees who have threatened suicide because they are long-term employees with nil prospects. He already, in the last number of years, has had some do themselves in, and ultimately it has affected him as well. Even if the Libs can just point someone toward us, thanks. And how do we instigate an election? Give me a ring later if you like. I have rung that gentleman and I've put him onto Rural Alive and Well and Lifeline. I feel so inadequate in just giving him those two leads. People are hurting in this state of Tasmania. They are losing their lives, they're losing their jobs, they're losing their businesses. And for those people in the forest sector who fall into the category of unskilled labour, who cares for them? You still have your job, Mr O'Halloran. This government still is in office, all on your plush leather seats, and us too. But we're unaffected at a personal level. But you have made your career on destroying wealth, on destroying what others have built. You remain Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister for Education, unaffected, driven around in a limo, on a high salary, with all your finery. What a special life you live, and what have you built? And the Greens with it. Their ideology has only been to destroy what others have built up, Mr Deputy Speaker.
I trust it is a genuine point of order because the honourable member doesn't want to have a day out of the House. This is becoming too much, so I hope it's a genuine point of order.
This is the first point of order, Mr Acting Deputy Speaker, that I've actually ever made in this place. And I think the member for Bass...
What's the point of order?
I think he actually implied that I'm driven around in a limo.
It's not a point of order. Resume your seat.
Mr Deputy Speaker, put him out, I urge you.
Order. Just continue with your contribution.
I will, Mr Deputy Speaker, but to reflect on the actions of this man who apparently now takes offence.
Order. The honourable member should address his comments through the chair.
Mr Deputy
not
Speaker,
directly to another member.
I appreciate that, Mr Speaker. Deputy Speaker, the member takes umbrage that he's been personally wounded by my words. His actions have materially wounded Tasmanians. Today he voted again to continue the sabotage of our state. He voted today with his colleagues in the Greens, and I should say it doesn't reflect well on Labor members who also voted to remove a key part of the Liberals' motion, which was to condemn economic sabotage in this state, which has been a 30-year program. The Greens must be so pleased with themselves because they're actually achieving what they set out to do. That's to destroy wealth, take away jobs, destroy industries, talk about blueberries, talk about ecotourism. But there's not a...
Honourable members, time's expired.
There's not a development they support.
The honourable leader of the opposition.
They stand condemned.
Thank you.